All right, thanks.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm here to tell you a bit about Anglo-Asian Mining PLC. We're a very different company to some of these companies you're hearing about today, who tend to be much more early stage exploration companies and companies that are just getting started. We're actually a very well established company. Okay, so we've been listed on AIM since 2005. We've had a long track record of profitability and paying dividends. However, the last 18 months have been challenging, which has resulted in the company posting losses for both last year and the first half of this year, and as a result we had to suspend the dividend. The difficult 18 months arose as we had to shut down a significant part of our processing in August of last year. Whilst an environmental audit was carried out. We actually sailed through the environmental audit with flying colours. However, we were unable to restart full production until we had government authorisation to raise our tailings dam wall. This took the best part of a year to obtain. However, the reason I'm here today is I think we'd like to give you the message that this difficult period is very much behind us, and we are now fully back in business. And we think that we should now be able to start resuming profitable operations again. This is Azerbaijan, where we operate. This has obviously been very much in the news recently because of COP29, which is being held here. I won't say much about Azerbaijan other than to say that it is very different from what most people have as an idea of the Stan that emerged out of the former Soviet Union. It's very much a civil society. It has a strong rule of law and is very stable. It feels much more similar to a southern European country such as Italy rather than a former Soviet state. This is the management of the company, which again has been very stable. Reza here, he's a very prominent businessman in Azerbaijan who, together with Governor Sunun, who founded the company 20 years ago. The rest of us have all been in the mining industry, I think, longer than we care to remember. We have excellent relations with the government of Azerbaijan, and these have actually grown very stronger over the last 18 months as we've had to work through the environmental shutdown together. Okay, we have a very clear defined strategy to make the company a lot bigger, and that is to dramatically increase our copper production over the next 5 years. And this will be through the sequential opening of 3 to 4 new mines, and also restarting Demirli, which is a brownfield project which we've acquired. The first of these new mines, Gilar, is close to starting to production. We've announced it will start production next month. However, we're currently encountering very difficult conditions underground, and production has unfortunately slipped to early next year. I was actually in the mine last week, and there is a lot of water there. It is very wet. We have 2 big copper deposits, Ha and Garadak, where we're planning to construct mines and a processing plant and bring into that production by 2027 and 2028 respectively. Demirli is a copper mine and flotation processing plant in Karabakh, built during Armenian times. It's currently not operating. We're actively exploring, where we have a very successful track record, to increase our resources, and are making the first steps in financing both Ha and Garadak. Okay, firming up our resources to JORC standards is obviously a key part of our strategy. During the partial shutdown, we've completed mineral resource estimates for all of our current deposits to JORC mineral standards by recently publishing the JORC mineral resource estimates for both Ha and Garadak. We now have over 1 million tonnes of copper in the ground, which is that number there. We think this is a big number, given the world's thirst for copper. We also have over 400,000 ounces of gold there, and again, we think that's a significant number. And note that these figures contain nothing for the resource of Demirli. Okay, so what's happened over the last 18 months? Okay, we had a an environmental audit in July of last year following protests at a Gedabek mine. Now, we actually sailed through the environmental audit with a clean bill of health. However, we could not restart agitation, leaching and flotation processing until we had government authorisation to raise the tailings dam wall, as the dam was almost full. Authorisation was obtained in July of this year, and the first raise of the wall will be completed this month. Again, I was actually at Gedabek last week. The wall has been finished, all of the rock work has been done, the sand has been done, and they're now just finishing off the lining. We restarted our agitation leaching in September, and flotation processing is restarting this week. Now, just to show you how the company is really getting back into health again, we produced an average of 862 ounces of gold per month in the 8 months to August from heap leaching. We was able to continue heap leaching throughout the shutdown, as heap leaching does not produce any tails. We restarted agitation leaching in September. So in October, the first full month of agitation leaching, we produced 2,800 ounces of gold, which produced revenue of over $7 million. This shows how restarting is dramatically increasing our revenues. It's a sign that the company is really getting back into to good health. Flotation processing is being commissioned this week with full production by Friday. Okay, we have 8 mining concessions called contract areas in Azerbaijan. They total over 2,500 square kilometres, or approximately 2% of the country. The 2 important regions are the 4 contract areas around Gedabek, which are here, and the contract area of Demirli, which you can see here. These contract areas form a contiguous area of 1,408 square kilometres and is a developing copper district. Okay. Right, this is a fairly old aerial photo of the Gedabek contract area, which gives you, however, a feel for the terrain. Located at Gedabek are our group's legacy mines, which is the main open pit, which we've been mining from for quite a long time, and our underground mines. Our processing plants are here, which is the agitation, leaching and flotation processing plants, and this gives us a lot of very flexible production. Okay, that's my sort of brief introduction to the company, and let's talk about a few of the new things that we have got going on. Okay, we're developing a new mine called Gilar, which will start production early next year. The deposit was discovered by a geological team through an aerial survey of the site in 2018. We initially focused on another discovery, Zafir, and published its maiden JORC resource in 2022. However, we shifted our focus to Gilar following exceptional drill results. It's an underground mine, as you can obviously see, and its main production decline is just under 1.5 kilometres. We've encountered a lot of soft rock and water underground, and ground conditions are particularly difficult for this moment. Last year, we acquired an underground mining fleet for the mine, comprising 5 Caterpillar underground loaders, of which you can see one here. This is the first time this equipment has been deployed in Azerbaijan. We also refinanced 3.7 million of the 4.6 million of the purchase price of the fleet through vendor financing from Caterpillar. This was another first in the entire Caucasus region. After a period of ramp up, the mine is expected to produce around 1,600 to 2,000 tonnes of ore per day. The ore will be transported approximately 6 kilometres by road to our existing processing facilities. It will initially be processed by agitation leaching to produce gold doré. The tailings will then be floated to produce a copper concentrate, which we will sell to Trafigura. Its mine life is estimated at a minimum of 5 years. Okay. The next mine we're planning to develop is Haha. Haha was acquired along with Garadak in 2022. The Haha contract area abuts the northern boundary of the Gedabek contract area and hosts the Haha deposit. When we acquired the licence, we also acquired 4,923 metres of drill core drilled by Anglo, who were the previous owners of the deposit. We've carried out some in-house geological field work last year, but not this year, as we suspended work to conserve funds. However, we have continued to analyse the drill core we acquired. There was an existing exploration tunnel which we've extended and from which we have carried out underground drilling. We recently published the maiden JORC mineral resource estimate for Ha, which showed copper in the ground of over 119,000 tonnes. We're planning further geological work to increase the resources. We've started work on the preparation of a preliminary feasibility study for Ha and are currently evaluating options for processing the ore, such as flotation processing or heap leaching. It is envisaged that a common production facility will be built to serve both the Ha and Garadak deposit. Okay, Garadak is another copper project north of Ha along the road between Garadak and Shamkir, between Gedabay and Shamkir. This picture of the deposit, which you can see here, was actually taken from the side of the road between Gedabay and Shamkir. You can also see the drill runs actually on the deposit, which was made by Anglo, and these drill runs are still serviceable. Here is a map of the Garadak and Ha deposit, and you can actually see there are some other minor deposits in between. So we think that this is the start of another fairly big copper district, and without getting too technical, effectively what is happening, we think, is there is a porphyry running underground, and these are surface outcrops of that porphyry deposit. Again, we've produced the JORC mineral resource estimate showing that there's 897,000 tonnes of copper in Garadak. This resource is only in the inferred and indicated categories, as it's been produced from third-party drilling. We're planning our own drill program both to increase the resources and to recategorise the resources into measured and indicated. Okay, I'll finish up with Damirli, which is a contract area in Karabakh and is the location of the Damirli mine and plant. This operation was established about 10 years ago and operated until 2022. In 2023, Azerbaijan regained full sovereignty over Karabakh. Here is a location of Damirli, and I put in the location of the Gedabek plant there just for comparison. Damirli is actually closer to the Baku than Gedabay, and the drive is shorter by about 1 to 1.5 hours. The drive is over good metalled roads, apart from some unmade roads between Agdam here and Damirli. So from here, right up through to Yevlek and down to Agdam, it's a very fast road. This road we think will probably be built soon, as there is a massive amount of road construction and other construction going on in Karabakh. The Damirli operation consists of an open pit mine comprising a central and a western pit, a 6.6 million tonne per annum flotation plant, a secondary molybdenum plant and a tailings dam. Although a large plant, this operation is actually quite straightforward. The plant was built to best Western standards and equipment from high quality Western suppliers has been used throughout. Okay, here are some photos of Damirli, and excuse the photography, I took these a couple of weeks ago. Here you can see the main plant, which is built on the side of a hill. To give you an idea of its operation, ore from an open pit mine, which is here, is fed into a hopper here. The ore then goes down through the hopper, up a conveyor belt there into the main body of the plant. From the main body of the plant, it then goes through a sag and a ball mill and then into flotation cells. From there, it's dewatered to produce a copper concentrate. What is interesting about this is that there is no crushing plant because it is highly fractured ore, and because it's highly fractured ore we can grind it straight away. Now this is obviously very good, because obviously crushing ore is quite expensive, so that will save us some costs. So what are we actually doing at Damirli at the moment? Our initial evaluation is currently underway, and an office has been established at Damirli. The accommodation block is now functional, and there are canteen facilities. A small laboratory has also been set up and is functional. The plant looks to be in good order, as the flotation cells were drained in 2022, following the blockade of the Lachlan corridor by the Azeri army. This is important, as if the plant had suddenly been turned off and abandoned, it would likely have been wrecked. However, some gears and pinions and drive shafts have been removed. The plant requires a lot of automation, and there are banks of electrical equipment cupboards. Some of these have had the control panels removed. However, some of these control panels have been recovered, and our electricians are currently investigating the necessary repairs to get the plant up and running. Key to the successful reopening of the plant is the amount of resource remaining. We've made a very rough estimate of around 60 million tonnes of ore containing 240,000 tonnes of copper. However, this is a rough estimate based on incomplete data, as we have only been able to find part of the records. We're currently carrying out reverse circulation drilling to identify enough resource to commission the plant and to give us 1 year's production. We're also carrying out a drone survey of the entire site to ascertain its topology. Longer term, we intend to produce a JORC mineral resource estimate for remaining mineralisation, which could take up to a year. The main issue with getting this plant reopened is the tailings dam. There is an upstream tailings dam, which is this here, which has been built very close to the plant, but it is almost full. And it has had, I think, 5 raises in its life, which you can see when you actually look at it. We're currently having it investigated by Knight Piésold to see that it's actually structurally intact and that we can use it and that we can carry out another tailings dam raise. If that is possible, we will be able to get this plant up and running, we think, by the first half of next year. However, if it's not and we've got to build another tailings dam, we would have to reevaluate what we're going to do with Damirli. Okay, well, we think this is a pretty good investment case. Obviously, we're a well-established company. We've been through a very quiet period and a very difficult period over the last 18 months, but we're now getting fully back into business. We've got a very good relations with the government in Azerbaijan, which is very stable. We've got a large amount of resources in the ground. You know, we're proven operators, we're proven explorers, and we think that we can actually take this company forward in the next 5 years and develop it into a much, much bigger company. And my final message is over 1 million tonnes of gold and over 40,000 ounces of, sorry, 1 million tonnes of copper and 400,000 ounces of gold.
Thanks, Bill.